Okay, almost there before we start. Now it's time. Welcome to this first Exportia Lab of 2023. We've taken a little break, but we're back February 23. And as Australians would be very familiar with, I just would like to first pay my respect. And in the spirit of reconciliation, Exportia acknowledges the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea, and community. We pay our respect to their elders, past and present, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Island peoples today. So now I would like to welcome all of you for joining this first webinar of the year, How to Find European Distributors. So this is, my name is Christelle, I'm your host, and every month we have a webinar, free webinar session that is 30 minutes, and that cover a specific topic about the European market. Today, the topic is how to find European distributors, and you are more than welcome to send questions on the chat box or on the Q&A button throughout the session. So feel free. There's some of you that don't know me, so I'm going to have to quickly go through introduction, and our apologies for our regulars. We have Sanjay, Margaret that know me for a long time, so apologies to you and also to the customers of Exportia that I've kindly joined. All right, so what is the objective of having European distributors? Well, the objective of having European distributors is to achieve that million and maybe multi-million European sales, 1 million euros in sales, without having to set up a subsidiary and have a local team. That's the main objective. And at Exportia, we have a lot of experience, and we think, and we've done it before, that you can set up good sales with the distribution network in Europe. That's why we're here today. That's what we're doing. For the people that don't know me, there's a few unknown faces. I'm Christelle, the founder of Exportia. I'm also a Natha, and I publish around exporting to Europe. My team and we provide an outsourced European sales and marketing team in Europe. And our objective is to scale non-European businesses to their first €1 million on sales and beyond. This is a team, some of you know them really well. Originally, I worked in tech for IBM, selling software, hardware, and services to large banks, and set up the business in Australia in 2006. Now, we are here today to talk about distributors. What is the advantage of having European distributors in Europe, and why are we talking about it? Well, most of you are in the small, medium-sized, high-growth type of stage in your business. And what European distribution enables you is to plug in a larger ecosystem. It's to give you access to a larger team, or give you access to a larger portfolio of clients, or give you access to larger customers with a local partner based in Europe. The reason I'm talking about this topic is because we have done that setting up European distribution networks. We've done that many times for our customers around in the last 16 years. So we've done that in the safety market for clean space. We've done that in automotive for Red Dark, for example, but it's only 2 examples. We've done that over and over. Our journey ahead, what are we going to talk about now? I'm going to talk about 3 things. Try to avoid typical mistakes around distribution and some myths that we are going to dismantle and about European distribution. We're going to talk about good profiling. How do we make sure we have the right profile of distributor? And then we are going to talk about the selection of that distributor itself. Okay, so let's start with number one. Let's avoid typical mistakes. One of them is that you just need a very large distributor, and that is going to make you very successful in Europe. Well, the reality is, in our experience, very large distributors are extremely hard to get started. They're excellent. They can be very professional in whatever industry you are in. You may be in ag, some of you are in transport, some of you are in energy, some of you are in medtech today. But large distributors are very slow to move. And so for us, small and medium-sized businesses, sometimes we just don't have the time. And so only having a large distributor in your selection might not be the right way to go. The other myth, which I would like to dismantle, I don't know if it's the right English word, maybe you guys have a better word for it, but basically the other myth I'd like to talk about is that if you give exclusivity to distributor, they'll be very motivated. We hear that a lot. In reality, companies that have exclusivity have less incentive to move. They feel very comfortable in their circle. And the reality is, if another priority comes to them, they will not honor their engagement with exclusivity. I find exclusivity agreement with European distributors a very risky arrangement for small to medium-sized business because it takes a lot of time to set up. Then the distributor gets really comfortable and doesn't have any urgency. The small business has urgency to get some sales. The large distributor with exclusivity doesn't. And so then after a year or two, there's no result, and then it's very hard to unwind. So what it means is for the small business, they've lost 2 years. So I've seen that a lot of time. Companies coming to us have tried that path and saying, how do we get out of this? Because we're not getting any sales. The other myth is I'm going to set up a European distributor that is present in many different European countries. That's another myth. In Europe, there's a lot of distributors that are going to claim that they can do many countries, okay? And as newcomers, if you don't know this market, it's very hard for you to check that they can actually do it. But there's a lot of them where basically they will tell you that they will try to get a territory beyond their capabilities. They won't have any sales team in those countries that they are claiming. Or it'll be very hard for them. So if I give you an example, in the Nordics, it's very common that a distributor will want to have the full Nordics, Finland, Sweden, Norway. And then the reality is, if they're only a small Finnish distributor, it will be hard for them to sell to Sweden, and vice versa. So it is not the way I would do it. What is important for you when you set up your European distribution network is you start by just one country. Even if you are dealing with a distributor that has an effective European network, give them just one country and choose that country carefully. Make sure you focus on the country that has the best potential for your product. Okay, 1 or 2 max is and then you set it up, generate the sales, and then move to the next country. So once you've selected the right country for your business, and you can start to give some questions, guys, if you want to, if you have anything that comes to mind as we go. Okay, good profiling of that distribution partner, or that if you're in IT, we talk so often about a channel partner. The first key thing is that they need to have the customers that you are looking for. Those customers are the ones where you have a track record with. So let's say if you have a track record in your domestic market in the energy sector, you want to make sure your distributor is actually selling to energy players, large multinationals. If you sell into farmers, some of you are, well, you want to make sure your distributor is selling to the farmers, the type of farmers you're looking for. And so what the first thing you do is you say, okay, you describe that type of end customer that you are really wanting to target, and be specific and base it on your track record in your domestic market or in any other market. It's very important. Second, you have to choose a distributor that has the same position as you in the market. If you are selling a premium product with a high price point and highly technical, which a lot of you are today, then you need to have a distributor that is able to sell premium price products, highly technical, that knows about that technical sale. A distributor that is not used to that, their sales rep will be scared to actually sell an expensive product. I remember working in the automotive sector, and we were trying to sell quite a technical product into a retailer network, a very large retailer network. When I talked to the retailer at the shop level, what they told me is, look, it is great, but my team in the shop, they're scared to sell this because this is very expensive. They used to sell the cheap equipment, simple to explain, and so on. So you have to find that distribution channel that is able to sell the type of product that you are selling. So same type of sales method, same type of technical sales if you are doing technical sales. Very important. All right, which technical skills do they need to have in-house? Some of you are in ag, so maybe do they need to have a biologist in-house? Do they need to have an IT person in-house to configure when you sell your product, when to configure it? So what you need to realize when you are not a Europe-based business, you don't have a team there. When a distributor might be your first port of call in case of technical question, and in that case, you need to make sure this distributor profile has the right technical skills. Okay, so list it as well in your profile. What skills do you need? Okay, next criteria, does that distributor need to be regional, national, pan-European? In my view, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because basically, if you think about it, and if you look at, come from Australia or from Canada, think about it. A French region or a German region might be as big as your entire domestic market. So it's better to focus on the right distributor, even if they're small and they're regional. But if they are excellent and they do really well in their region, that might be just an excellent revenue generator. And that's all that matters, is finding the right partner instead of trying to find, quick fix. I'm going to set up a national distributor and so on. Maybe you have a smaller one that will do an excellent job in their region. That's how quick sales happen. A good partner, that's how quick sales happen. All right, we are halfway. We're more than halfway. We're coming to the third point. We're coming to the effective selection. So we've defined our profile. We know that we need to select 1 or 2 countries max. We've defined our profile, what our distributor need to look like. Now it's time to select. Okay, as I said before, you need to have a diverse range of distributors in your selection. Not just very large ones, but small ones are also interesting. They may start quicker. the sales for you. No problem, Brent. Large distributor give you access to large customers. That's a fact. Some of them, very large customers may have large distributors may have contracts, like multi-year contract with very large multinationals. If you are targeting those multinationals, you may want to have that distributor in place to service them. But the small and an agile distributor will definitely be a great partner in the mix because they will start quicker. This is my experience over and over a lot. Sometimes I've even seen smaller distributor generating, after years and years of selling into the European market, smaller distributors actually selling as much as large ones. It's quite unbelievable, but because they have invested in your business, in your product. Okay, how to identify, we're getting into the tips now, how to identify a European distributor. Okay, competitors distribution network. Okay, you may or may not want to have a distributor that is selling a competitor's product, but it might give you a really great way to identify potential distributors still. It may happen that those distributors are selling your competitor's product, but are not happy. And so it might be a good timing for you. They might look for alternatives and they know the market. So, or you may have competitors, but they have a slight positioning that is different to yours or different customers. So you might be a good complementary product to a distributor's range. So pick that distributor, that competitor carefully. Look who is distributing them in Europe, in the country you've selected. It's where you look at the where to buy, okay, on their website. Another trick that is very useful, you remember when I talked before about the positioning, and I had that photo of a gentleman there with a nice tie. Well, you want to make sure your distributor positions the same as you do in terms of, if you're premium, you want a distributor that can sell a premium solution. So to do that, what you need to do is you need to identify a complementary product to yours that typically a distributor would sell in addition to your product to your target customer. And that's a great way to make sure the positioning is right, because if you find a product that has the same positioning as you, but is not competitive, look at their European distribution network. Who are they working with? That is a very efficient way to do your mapping. All right, use distributors shows. And distributor shows can have different profiles. You may have, so for the medtech guys in the room, you may have, for example, large multinational shows such as Medica in Germany. A lot of distributors visit those shows to see what's new. What new product should I put in my range? And they're visiting, they're rarely exhibiting, they're more visiting and seeing who's showing what product. Okay, that's one type of distributor show. The other one, if I stay on the medical side, but I could have other examples for other industries, you may want to very focus and target a specific niche in the medical sector, let's say intensive care. So if you attend or exhibit at an intensive care conference, you may see that exhibitors will be distributors at those small shows, okay? Because they're the local partners to those intensive care doctors, they're supplying to them. So there's different ways you can use shows to identify distributors, okay? Either the distributors are typically visitors to the show or they exhibit. So investigate both for your specific industry. one of my tricks that I always do, and my team do that too, is use the shows. If you're visiting a European show, use the shows to talk to your peers. So if I'm selling a specific product and I've identified a colleague, a potential colleague that is selling a non-competitive product, but to the same customers, I am going to go and talk to them and ask them how is business, and telling them we are preparing our entry into the market and that I'm contemplating several partners. What do they think about this? And do they think about that partner? I have done that a couple of times with trusted colleagues, and it's proven to be very successful to do that. Last thing that is important is to conduct a full selection process. So you've done your search, you looked at the shows, you looked at the complementary product distributor, you look at your competitors' distributors. Now you have a list, 10, 20 distributors for France or for Italy or for Germany. Now you are going to contact them and you are going to tell them that you are conducting a full selection process of distributors. So you actually say it. You're not saying that you want to engage them straight away. You tell them that you want to assess them as a potential distributor. It is a very different way to approach the market. You're showing that you are quite professional, that you are not desperate to get a distributor. It's from the bar. I'm a salesperson, so when I do that, I want to put myself in the best bargaining posture and position I can. So I come in and I'm doing a selection and I'm looking at several distributors. There is an implied competition, right? And I, of course, outline the opportunity of jumping in, but I said this is an assessment. So that's how you start. So let me recap on what we looked at. We first wanted to avoid typical mistakes. Having systematically a large distributor first is not always the best. Giving exclusivity is sometimes not doing the expected, not bringing the expected outcome. Pan-European distributor is not always great because not every distributor has a great coverage in every single European country. 2, good profiling, base it on your track record, the customers you try to look at and to target, on your positioning and on your technical skills that you are looking at for this market. And then 3, efficient selection. Look at when you do your map out, where to buy, complementary product distributor, use shows, whether you visit them or you exhibit in them, talk to peers and do a full selection. But remember, when you start your European distribution, you have to first identify 1 or 2 country maximum. Don't go Europe-wide. It's just too much. You have to validate your profile of the right distributor for your business. And you have to make sure that, that it works before you add another country to your selection. I will text questions soon if some of you have any. I have a challenge for you. Some of you on the line have done it with us already, so you would be familiar with that. But I've got a challenge for you if you are entering the European market now. On our website, there is an ideal European distributor profile. It's a template, it's a Word document. We will attach it to the follow-up of the notes, to the email you receive to thank you for attending. And I'll make sure Leo in my marketing team does add it to that email. Fill it in. Have a think. It will take you through the process of thinking what distributor you need to work on, and then we can sit down and have a chat about it. Wouldn't it be great to have a distributor, a European distributor that could generate some revenue for you. But remember that just setting up the European distributor, it's just the start of the journey, really. It's only the start. It's step one. We have a full 5-step process. So we've done the profiling, and then you need to go ahead in the selection. I'd like to see if anyone has any questions so far. Anyone has any question around distribution? All right, so what we'll do, so my next lab will be on the, feel free to send the question, I'll stay on the line for a bit. We have a next lab on the 21st of March, and I have a few topics in mind, but I wanted to ask you if you were wanting me to talk about any specific topic around distribution or around key accounts, targeting key accounts in Europe, or anything else. So feel free to jump in and send an email to say what you would like us to work on. I'll stay for a couple of minutes on the line. I'd like to thank you for joining in the afternoon, Monday for the Canadians, and the early morning, 9 a.m. for the eastern states of Australia. So I'd like to, take any question. I'll stay around for a bit. Any feedback are welcome as well, always. Don't be shy, ask for question. I see there's plenty of newcomers. I'd like to say that I'm really happy that you all joined today. I hope you found it useful. And just wanted to announce that we are going to. Okay, so I have a question from Sanjay. Is there any list of distributors that we can access? So there's no generic list of distributors. I mean, you could buy a database of distributors, but first of all, it needs to be so relevant to your industry that I would not recommend you do buy a list of distributors. I think you use what I've talked about. So you use your competitors' list of distributors. You use the European, your complementary products distributors. So let's say if I'm in safety and I'm selling gloves, I'm gonna look who is selling, which distributor is selling shoes, safety shoes. I'm gonna look at that, and I'm gonna look. The way to look at it is to actually look at specific brands and see how they are established in the European market. Thanks, Sanjay, for the question. Anyone? I just wonder if anyone, thanks for the messages, Dr. Singh and Brent. Anyone else has a question? I'll stay around for a few more minutes. All right, what's the best starting point for a company that haven't worked with European distributors yet, but looking for potential distributors? So I would say, so that must be a question from LinkedIn. So if you have not worked with distributors in Europe, but you have, so there might be the case that you have worked with distributors in your domestic market. Okay, if you have worked with distributors in your domestic market, you have a good look at them, and you see which one are my high performers, okay? And you start to go through that profile, that profiling of distributors. So let me just you take that profile that we're gonna send to you, and basically you start to say, okay, my best performer, he's actually looking like that, okay? So you describe it, and then you start to look That's where you start. You always think of your best distributor, your best performer, you describe it, and then you try to look for it in the selected European country you are targeting. If you don't have any if you don't have distributors and you're not familiar with distribution in your domestic market, then you think about the sales team of your distributors, what profile they should have, and you think about your type of sales method. If I'm traditionally working with if in my sales team, I have that profile of person, they are familiar with the, let's say, if I take ag, with the farmers market. They have sold such and such products to farmers, then you will try to find the distributor in Europe that has the same type of sales team and the same type of products that you want to be in synergy with. Okay, so you need to find the distributors that your sales team would be comfortable selling for, I should say. So that's two ways. Start either if you have distributors in your home country, what do they look like? If you don't, try to see of the type of the profile of your own sales team and try to find it in a distributor in Europe. Any other question? I hope that was helpful. Thanks, John, for the nice comment and feedback. Anyone has any other question? We're going to have to wrap up because we are on time. It's 30 minutes, and I want to make sure that all our webinars finish on time. So you know where to find me. You are either on connecting with me via email. I'll put you my contact details. Just reach out, and with your questions, you've got my contacts. Any question? Thank you, everyone, for the nice feedback. And remember, we have another lab on the 21st of March. If there's any specific topic you are interested in, you are very welcome to submit a topic to me, and I will definitely look at it. Nice to see you, Pablo. Thanks, Sanjay, Dr. Singh, Stephen, John, Margaret, Brent, everyone. Nice to see you, and welcome to the new attendees. I'm very happy that you guys joined today. See you next month. If I don't talk to you before then, see you. Bye-bye.